Hey gang, welcome to my channel. I'm the Pony 314, and check it out. The plastic fantastic itself, the Glock 17, currently the military and police sidearm by which all others are judged. The 9mm that, well, forgive the cliche, took American law enforcement by storm. Cheesy, I know, but that is pretty much what happened. So, here are the basics. This is a polymer-framed, steel slide, striker-fired automatic pistol, chambered in 9mm, with a 17-round magazine. There's no manual safety. Safety is instead located right here on the trigger. And this was the first Glock ever. It was introduced by Austrian Gaston Glock, who was a curtain rod manufacturer of all things, way back in 1982. Now, Glock himself, not a firearms guy, but he knew plenty about advanced synthetic polymers. So his company came up with this design in response to the Austrian military's announcement in 1980 that they were in the market for a new sidearm. I mean, they were still carrying old Walther P-38s from the World War II era and wanted something a tad bit more modern. Gaston Glock wanted to plant his flag and offer an extremely modern design that was durable, reliable, easy to learn how to shoot and maintain, with large magazine capacity. And he certainly did that. The resulting Glock 17, without that manual safety or decocking lever, was lightweight, it was user-friendly, and could take a lot of abuse and still fire reliably. In short, this was everything the Austrian military was hoping for, and they adopted it in 1982, which was the same year it was designed. So the trials must have been quick, and the Glock 17 was selected over 8 other designs. And yes, this was the first Glock. It's not called the Glock 17 because there was a such thing as a Glock 1 through 16. But this handgun was Gaston Glock's company's 17th patent, so that's how that happened. And its adoption by the Austrian military caused other countries in Europe to take an interest in this futuristic pistol. I think Norway was the next one to adopt it. But within 10 years, 45 countries across the world began buying these up for military and police use. And inevitably, with the 9mm revolution going on at that time, America took a keen interest, not so much for military use, but mainly for law enforcement. And the first Glocks reached America in 1988. American law enforcement took a liking to it, and the age of the good old-fashioned .38 police revolver, though it was already ending, was now pretty much gone forever. Police use guaranteed interest by the American civilian market, and within a few years, the Glock became the 9mm to beat. The Glock 17 was adopted by some police departments. Others take a liking to the Glock 19, which is really just a Glock 17, slightly reduced in size. And within a few years, newer models of the Glock seem to come out by the minute. Subcompact versions like the Glock 26, and just to name a few, there's the Glock 20 in 10mm, the 21 in 45 ACP. Then there are models in 40 cal, 357 SIG, 380, and that's part of what makes the Glock such a huge seller. Whatever size, whatever chambering, there's probably a Glock that suits your needs. But this one, the Glock 17, was the first. This is the one that made all others possible. Of course, let's not deny it, movies and TV probably did more than anything else to make the Glock a favorite in the civilian market here in the States. You ever seen Die Hard 2? Of course you have. But a scene in that movie practically acts like a commercial for the Glock. Bruce Willis's character, Lieutenant John McClane, describes the bad guys as carrying a Glock 7, a porcelain gun made in Germany that doesn't show up on airport metal detectors and costs more than you make in a month. Well, there's no such thing as a Glock 7. It's a polymer gun made in Austria, has plenty of metal, so it will show up on a metal detector, and these are really no more expensive than any other high-cap auto pistols, but, you know, whatever. Then suddenly, in movies and TV shows, cops are carrying Glocks, bad guys are carrying Glocks. It was in all the action movies. Rappers started putting Glock into their lyrics, so you get the idea. It became a big deal, is what I'm saying. At one time or another, somewhere around 2/3 of American police departments have used some variation of the Glock. including the 17 here. Federal law enforcement like the U.S. Marshals and Border Patrol get a lot of use out of the Glock. And, well, we'd be here all day if we listed all the countries around the world that use this as a military or police weapon. A fairly random sampling would include Finland, India, Ecuador, Romania, Yemen, France, I think all English-speaking countries, and that's just a fraction of the total countries that use it in some capacity or another. There are 5 generations of Glock, each with fairly minor visible changes, and that's a lengthy story, and we're not going to go all the way through that. But this one here is a 3rd generation Glock. So that generation was introduced in 1998, and 3rd gens have this accessory rail, has thumb rests, finger grooves right here on the front strap, and an extra cross pin right here. But the Glock is fun to shoot no matter what generation we're talking about, so let's get to the range and do that. We're out here at the municipal shooting range on the outskirts of Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, with the Glock 17. There's our bleeding zombie clown down there a few yards. We're going to get a loaded magazine in this, and we're going to put a whole lot of holes in them, which really easy to do with a Glock 17. So let's hit it. The Glock's fans call it, say it with me now, the plastic fantastic. And of course, they're the detractors who call it combat Tupperware. And I've got to confess here, I was one of those guys who didn't care about the Glock. I thought it was just too fashionable, so I was a combat Tupperware hater type. But after shooting one owned by a friend of mine, I took a liking, and well, since this is my Glock 17 here, well, you can see how that went. I guess I was wrong to judge a Glock by its cover, but let's say, yeah, I get it. I see the appeal. But with more than 20 million Glocks of all types made since its introduction, it's become almost a world standard, so Gaston Glock certainly got something right. Probably a lot of somethings. Talk about a runaway success. And on that subject, let's run away to the range and get some more shots on target. But first, if you'd like to help keep this channel going, feel free to support us on Patreon. There is a link in the description. So, everyone, back to Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. We have another loaded magazine for our Glock 17, so we're going to do our second shoot. And I think that thing can stand to take 17 more holes. All right, enough of the talking. Let's do some shooting. So that was our episode on the Glock 17. Thanks for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it. And if you like what we do on this channel, feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. I'm the Pony 314, and I will see you at the range.